Welcome to the Lean Out Your Business podcast, a show dedicated to helping entrepreneurs accelerate business growth and simplify success. I'm your host, Krista Grasso, and I've been working with businesses for more than 2 decades to help them lean out and optimize what's working while eliminating anything that's not adding value. So if you are ready to get more time back in your day, more profit in your business, and to do business differently, growing and scaling on your terms, let's dive into today's episode. Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Lean Out Your Business podcast. We're going to do something a little fun and a little different in this week's episode. And I've been reflecting back on all of the incredible people who I've had on the show so far and all of the incredible advice that they have all shared on how to work smarter, not harder. And since that is a big focus this year for us in Lean Out Method, as I'm sure it probably is in your business as well, because that's something we always aspire to do when we run a lean business, I thought that for this episode, let's take a look back at some of the best advice that was shared on how to work smarter and not harder from guests last year. So I hope you absolutely love this episode and it inspires you with a lot of different things that you can experiment with in your business to get your time back and to just simply have more leverage in the activities that you do. How do you work smarter, not harder, and keep things lean in your business?
Oh, I love that you've asked me this. And my answer to your question is really simple in that I've adopted a good enough approach for me because I am a total Virgo perfectionist, or I have been. And I realized that my path to scaling and success was being hindered by perfection paralysis. So I have totally wrapped my arms around the good is good enough, because here's the thing. Most of us, our good is way more than good enough. Our good is the other person's, our great is different. Our good is more than good enough. It's probably perfect, and we're just procrastinating over the detail. And that's something that's really helped me scale and just move on and get that energy and keep things going faster and faster.
Staying in alignment, like really doing the inner work. I think when you do the inner work, it's a game changer. And the inner work doesn't stop, right? I still do inner work. I still hit a ceiling and like, damn, I thought I worked through that. Well, I did. I worked through it when I was making 50,000, right? I hit it again at like maybe 150. And I think everyone hits a big one about between 3 and 350. Huge. I bumped my head a couple times there. So it's, the inner game. And with finances, because I think that's a big one, right? Everyone's always like, oh my God, am I going to make enough money? That happens continually too. And just saying, I was paying my bills today and I paid off a big loan I had today, like a balloon payment. And I was like, I actually felt good. Like I thought I would be like sick to my stomach. And just knowing that that happens at every single level and shifting your mind to like, I got this. There's always more flowing in. I got this. I'm so in flow that people are attracted to me and the right people are, and I'm going to make it anyway. So I don't have to worry.
So I would say the first thing is understanding my genius time. So for me, it's first thing in the morning. So I take 90 minutes in the morning where about from 5:45 to 7:15 where I do work, and I can be more productive and effective in that 90 minutes than I am the rest of the day. So just understanding where you are at your best. And for most people, it is the morning. And I don't work out until I get that hour and a half in, right? Like that really is my time to get a lot done. And then the other thing that I always do is write down the night before the 6 things that I want to do the next day. And I start with one and I don't move on to the next one until that's done.
Number 1 is you got to get yourself in that feel-good state. You literally have to say, what is the priority? We talked about you making yourself the priority, but like what really is the priority? And what it comes down to each and every day, it's probably maybe 3 priorities. And training your mind to be focused on that and training your mind to see distraction.
I would say the first thing is delegating, but the way to keep things lean in the business, because you don't just want to delegate anything because it might not be worthy of it, is really figuring out before I delegate something, is this something that deserves to still be going on in my business? Is it worth paying someone else to do it? And looking at also at the lens of, if I pay someone else to do it, being the owner of my business, I can look at it as that person make lower hourly rate than I do. Is it worth them doing it? Is it worth paying that? And if it's not worth me paying that person to do it, is it really worth my time to get this done?
The way that I really try to simplify my business, I think it works for business, it works for life in general, is asking, does this align? And what I mean by that is, if you've done work about what your values are, if you've prioritized those values, you know how you want to show up in the world and the world that you want to create. That's foundational. Do that work. But then that gives you the freedom to say, when a client asks you for a project, or when a friend asks you to go on a trip, like for whatever situation you're in, asking, does this align with my values? Does this align with how I want to show up in the world and the world that I want to create?
So the first thing is, every month, but also every week, I assess my priorities. And these priorities can change because they can be personal or professional. I was telling Krista that I have a very, very, very tough year personally. And I decided to prioritize myself as a person instead of my business. And this was the right choice because now I have the energy to go back to my business again. So this is the first thing. The second one, I know that you will like it, is avoid complexity and get rid of all the things that you don't need and that maybe you're just doing because you are used to do. And it also entails hire fast with a clear idea in mind of what is the goal that your people have to do and what are the skills, and fire faster. Whenever somebody is not performing, fire as soon as possible, because this is draining your energy.
All the things about simplifying and of course systems and all the things that you teach, but I'm going to say today, I'm going to go with actually really what we talked about. So facing the inner work and work through it, and don't spend years like walking around it, but actually take that time, take those 10 minutes, 15 minutes to find a belief, to reframe it so that you just make it so much easier for yourself, because that's what is going to happen. You actually are going to save so much time because you will not be procrastinating and you will not be overworking or overthinking things when you take that moment of a deep dive.
I do 90-day planning, which we've talked about, and that gives me a really good opportunity to look at what's working and what's not as well. So part of my 90-day planning is that as I look forward to the next 90 days, I actually reflect on the 90 days that has been. And that's a really great tool for me to, as you said, work smarter, not harder. What's working? Let's do more of that. What's not working? Can I change that so it does work? Or is it just simply that I'm making busy work for myself that I don't really need to be doing?
For me, working smarter is about bulk creation. So I spend a week, maybe a week and a half every quarter planning and creating content for that quarter. And so I've constantly got that plan on the boil so that I can jump in and record videos super fast. And then I've got systems in place that my team know, okay, take this video, turn it into X, Y, and Z, and then it's gone. You know, so I, as a business owner, really only need to be showing up in front of the camera for a few days, but that few days to the outside world looks like I am on it 365 days a year. And so I think for me, it's that bulk filming and it's the systems so that it's just a well-oiled machine.
In my business, what I do is I keep an eye open for when I need an expert to hire in. Prior to going out on my own and doing my own consulting company, I had no experience with sales at all because all of my career had been in accounting and finance. And so I hired some experts to help me out with sales and marketing to be sure that I had a plan, I understood how it worked, and train me on it. I have a marketing team that I work with regularly to help with that. And I have a virtual assistant that helps me for a few hours a month. I surround myself with people that are experts in areas that I'm not an expert. And I didn't start that way at the beginning of my business. I did it all. But as I grew, I added a little bit in here and there about what was the next strategic move for my business to help me, allow me to expand. And what's that next piece going to be? And I always think about what the most efficient way is to do things.
And I think one of the most important things we can do, otherwise we end up in that hustle mode, right? I would say the most important lesson that I've learned there is to simplify my offerings and to create a business model where I'm inviting people into my business that, I'm helping serve them at a level, but there's a pathway into their journey with me that I can continue to help them. So clarity and message, and then having the right packaging to bring people into to help solve their biggest problems. But I think our business models are a core essential piece of keeping our businesses simple. As entrepreneurs, we have this tendency to want to say yes to a whole lot of things. And I've been there. In fact, even just this year, I've said, I think this isn't really fitting in this simplicity model. So starting to release some things. And so being very focused on keeping it clear and clean.
So one of the ways I work smarter, not harder, is to really, there's been lots of people that are like, block your time, do all that. I'm terrible with that stuff. What I actually do instead is I make sure that beginning and end of my week are days that are just purely set aside for me to connect to spirit and figure out what I'm writing. They're just purely research days, the days when I can connect into the spiritual. The science always exists in my head. I know the science. The science never changes. What changes is the spirit, the alignment, the deep connection to my client. Sometimes it's spending time with a client, going for a coffee and truly getting to know them because what they're presenting to me doesn't feel aligned. And so I work to find the alignment. Sometimes it's purely going to the ocean, dipping my toes in. This is working smarter, not harder. Instead of forcing myself to sit at a desk and force myself to write something that's not coming, I refuse. Instead, I step back and I align and then I write. And the process comes that much clearer, that much faster. And to a lot of people, it looks like she never sits at her desk. Like my husband said this the other day, you're never at your desk. And I was like, I know, because my best work is done when I take the time to turn off my conscious mind and allow my unconscious to connect in. And then it comes through really clearly. Something else I do that's smarter, not harder, is honestly, I'm really clear about the people I need in my life, in my business, and the people I don't. And I hire incredible humans that do the shit that I hate and that do the stuff that I'm really bad at, right? I can't wear all the hats all the time, and I own that. So I've been really blessed to hire incredible humans who their zone of genius is exactly what I need, and they can support me in that loving, kind way. And simply taking out things that I don't like and allowing somebody else to own that freed up so much time and energy and love in my business for me to actually create more and to work smarter. Definitely not harder, just way, way smarter.
I definitely use systems. I have routines, I have systems, and I have everybody on my team follow them as well. Like everything is documented. So you had hit on it earlier today when we were talking where they run self-sufficient. And I pride myself with an open door policy. Like if you need any clarification or something changed or they said, oh, I think we can run it a little bit more efficient this way. I'm totally like, all right, let's do it. Right. So yeah, that's what I do.
My big thing is I try to remove as many decisions from my plate as possible. And what I mean by that, and this goes for my personal life too. So I try to offload as many things and responsibilities to my team to also make them feel really empowered. So that way that my decisions and the things I'm working on are truly moving the needle in the company and are changing the trajectory on the vision. I always tell my team, I want them working on, the 3, 6, 12-month goals of me, but I'm thinking of 24 months. I'm thinking of 5 years, and I'm thinking, how are we getting there? So I think that's a big one, is just really delegating to my team and removing as many decisions as I can down to what I'm eating for dinner tonight.
I'm going to say this because I think every business owner thinks they're doing this, but I don't think every business owner is doing this. And the more I get to know business owners, the more I kind of see it over and over again. Are you actually doing the thing that makes your business go? Like that actually moves the needle in your business? I think that we all think we are, but like, I think you have to identify for yourself what those things are. So for us, there are two things that moves the needle in our business. One, to make our program the best program ever. And when I say the best, I mean best for our members. So we make it very fluid. We change it up. We're building it towards what the membership is asking for. So we're making it the best program for the current members that are in it so that they feel like they are in this amazing community. That's one of the ways that we know we're moving the needle, because people talk about the program and they get results from the program. The second thing is we concentrate on teaching outside of the program so that people understand how to come in. And for us, that's Design Bootcamp. We spend a lot of time getting people. Design Bootcamp is right now, this moment, it's only $27. Legitimately, I tell all my secrets in that bootcamp. It's 1 week and I'm like, I'm telling you exactly how I made money. You just have to do this. And we just give as much value as possible so that people, I think people talk about giving value, but like, legitimately, I tell all the things. And it's because I know that the right people will come into the program so that they will do the right things, right? And so we concentrate on two things: the program and how to get people into the program who are the correct fit. We don't want people who are not. We have an application process at this point. We want people who are the right fit. And literally my entire team, these are the two things we focus on. That's it.
I have a hierarchy of priorities based on what's most important to me. And it starts with time with my kid, because that's so limited. And then it's time for me, like taking care of me, going to the gym, my self-care, all that stuff. And then my business comes next. And then anything else like dating, social, whatever comes at the bottom of that. And it's not that it's at the bottom. It's all of these things are very important to me. It's just that when I'm filtering decisions, it's through that lens: kid, me, business, whatever else. And so like knowing what's most important and having a hierarchy of priorities like that makes it so much, you don't have decision fatigue, because every decision that you make is based on whatever that most important thing is. Should I run Facebook ads? Well, is it going to help us get to XYZ thing that I said was most important or not? Like, or is it not, right? Then don't do the thing. So I think that is my method within my business, is always knowing what's most important, or trying as hard as my human will allow me to, so that then I can make decisions much more easily, swiftly, and with less drag and friction than I think I have in the past.
So I am a very big EOS, the Entrepreneurial Operating System, user, and I actually help implement that in the organizations that need it. And what that does is it just keeps me very focused on what it is that I need to accomplish, and it helps me say no to the things, and it also helps my team. I'm a visionary. I'm not an integrator. And so I have an integrator. Amy is amazing. And as long as I can stay up here and Amy can do her part, that's Rocket Fuel, which is an EOS book. That dynamic of that relationship is critical. And then the L10 meeting, the level 10 meeting, and just really going through what your rocks are and only addressing the things like as a check-in, what are your KPIs, that sort of thing. And then IDS is identify, discuss, and solve. And just sticking to these structures and not wavering from them, because again, my eyes are bigger than my belly.
I hope you got a lot of value out of this episode and found some inspiration in ways that you can work smarter and not harder in your business. If you'd like more ways to work smarter, not harder, and really improve the operational efficiency of your business as you continue to grow and as you continue to scale in a big way this year, then I'm currently accepting a handful of businesses into our Simplify to Scale program. You can head over to leanoutmethod.com/scale to find all the details, or you can put time on my calendar at scalingstrategycall.com, and I'd love to chat with you and see if it's a good fit for your business. I will see you again next week. Thank you for joining me for another episode of the Lean Out Your Business podcast. I hope you got a lot of value and actionable insights from today's show and would love if you take a moment to leave us a review. If you have any questions on today's episode or on how to lean out your business, join us over in our private Facebook community where every week we do live training and Q&A, and I'd love to have you be part of the conversation. Head to leanoutmethod.com/group to join us. And before you go, be sure to subscribe to the show so you're the first to know when we release a new episode. We'll see you next week.